Hello and welcome everybody, I'm Barbarian and this is Crusader Kings 2 and we return to this Quantum Leap playthrough. And I want to apologize because in the last episode there were a couple of editing errors. That is primarily because I was pressed for time, but don't sweat it because we will forget it and we will move on to a better time, to better editing and hopefully, to just more time in general. Seeing as all of Bavaria of course is under lockdown, meaning I have a bit more time to do these sort of things. Now with that being said, we are in an interesting position because we are at the frontier of Orthodoxy and, of course, of Islam. We are Count Orestes of Aintab of House Aniedas, which is, honestly, a pretty old house. I mean, all things considered, we started in 942. Actually, we started earlier. I think we may have taken control of this before this game even started. He was granted at 946, so 10 years after we started this playthrough, our house started to exist, and we ruled, first and foremost, over here in Italy. We ruled in Longobardia, and now we are reduced to one holding over here in Edessa. We are an intricate web weaver, we are envious, we are patient, we are arbitrary, and we have the great pox, syphilis of course. And we didn't get it from any lovers, we got it from our wife, who, that does tell me a bit of a story, I suppose. And yeah, she's a lunatic, she's also a homosexual, envious, temperate, cynical, paranoid, diligent, and she rules in Arca, I don't know how to pronounce it. She's of House Diogenes, and our son will inherit her and our property, meaning we should be in a pretty decent situation there. But let's talk about the elephant in the room here. We are not in a decent situation when it comes to our well-being, because we are being invaded by the, I don't even know by whom, by the Musadin Holy War for Edessa. If they win this war, then they will gain everything that we own, and we will be landless, and of course that would mean the end of this character. But I think, somebody suggested, hey, you could rebel and make it so that the war is invalid against you, meaning you will survive even if your liege loses. But the thing about this is that I have confidence in my liege that he may win this. Look at this army. The citizens, or rather the states of the Greek successor states after the Roman Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire fell, are banding together to maybe, possibly, destroy this invasion force. I actually think we are in a pretty decent position to win this war, at least to come out of it scot-free. And I gotta say, I actually like the situation in this region as well, because the Abbasids are under attack, meaning that they won't be a threat, and the Seljuks will be under attack once the Mongols reach them, meaning we should maybe even have a shot here at gaining independence, or rather just, helping the local forces succeed. Now, with that being said, let's hope that this Musadin invasion can be stopped. It is interesting to note that while we are not going to rebel against our liege, I don't think that Count Orestes in these trying times will do any such thing. We are plotting, and this is not a plot that I started, we are plotting against him. We want to become the new Duke of Edessa. I think it makes sense. Once upon a time, we ruled over here in Longobardia. That was what our dynasty did, but we are no longer there. We're no longer bound to it. We now rule over here in the east, and our liege is all the way over here in Italy. I don't think, at the end of the day, how much can he truly help us? I think we do need to consider maybe going independent and then swearing fealty, for example, to Trebizond, who appear to be the true successors of Orthodox Asia Minor, the Eastern Roman Empire in this region. Maybe we can swear fealty to them and then be loyal vassals. We'll have to see about that. And they have sieged down this province in its entirety, and I think they are going to challenge. Oh wow, this could be the loss that I was fearing. Minus 82%. There's still time, and there's still a chance to survive here, as long as our allied troops arrive in time. Where the hell are they? Oh, and the war's over. The war just ended during a battle right here, but that battle didn't have any of us involved, not even my liege. He didn't. Oh, he became a Sunni Muslim. Listen, Dukes Boethius, I assume that you did this, because you thought this was the easiest way, but this is cowardly. I don't think this fits. Our man should behave, and I think, honestly, I already didn't believe in you being a good leader. I'm not gonna start now. I'm going to join the independence faction. Let me out. Give me the freedom that I deserve. Monks from the nearby monastery have been stopping by to trade for supplies quite often lately. They usually linger to talk and exchange knowledge. I should seek their company more often. You know what? I should seek their company more often. Let's seek their company more often. I don't think, honestly, he's quite the intelligent lad, and he has been sieged down. His home has been taken. He's not incredibly religious, of course, but his home has been taken down to the Muslims. I don't think he wants to be friends with them. I think he wants to keep his culture, his religion alive, and that, of course, means being secure and not going, cynical and all against the church. We need to cooperate with the church in these trying times, even if we don't necessarily believe all that much. And look at that, we picked up a learning point. Ah, there you go. The independence faction has fired. Our liege denied our request. And now we must remain independent. We must not have any of this siege down, and then we can become independent and go and swear fealty to Trebizond, who of course is much more, you know, I think, helpful when it comes to keeping our territory. So yeah, indeed, I hope that Kohar is a good leader. I think we got this though. Kohar of Edessa Revolt has quite the number of troops. And we just need to stay independent anyway. We just don't, you know, we can't afford having anything siege down. Oh no. Why is Hellas hostile to us? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Seriously, Calabria? Dukes Leidulf and Duchess Romelia. So she is of the dynasty as our former liege lord, or rather, yeah, they're brothers, or they're siblings. Oh, this could end very poorly for us. As I retired to my chamber, I was shocked to find a copy of the Bible of the Lollard Faith in my bed. At first I thought someone had left it there with the intention to frame me, but then I noticed a little note left on top of the open tome. I think you will find this interesting. Please give it a chance. Signed, a friend. Do I have a Lollard person in my court? Who is it? Show your face. Who the hell is doing this? Read the Lollard Bible. Intriguing. I guess a little read cannot hurt. Sure. Let's read a little. The copy of the Lollard Bible, I found in my chambers, had been left open on a passage on a legendary war and the brave heroes who fought in it to defend the Lollard faith. The story intrigued me enough to make me continue reading. Over the course of only a few weeks, I had finished the entire tome. Yeah, I don't think that's likely. You know what? Reading this has reaffirmed my confidence in my own beliefs. I will not become Lollard. That is so far-fetched. We have no connection to the Lollard faith whatsoever. There's no Lollards anywhere here. Are you crazy? How did this even happen? I don't know. No. I will not become Lollard. I want to be a good vassal. I want to become a good vassal of the King of Trebizond, I think. If this rebellion were to work out, that is. At the end of the day, I'm not entirely certain that we will actually be able to pull that off, but I can hope. I can dream. And right now it's looking good. We are amassing the war score as we go. There are many mysteries in the Orthodox faith. It might be interesting to spend some time delving into the old text of the Bible. And look at that. Yeah, I didn't even notice, but our AI, before we took over, already focused on theology. I think it makes a lot of sense that we don't suddenly turn around and, you know, become heathens. I will dedicate more time to read the scriptures, absolutely. And I really want to point out something that I didn't notice until, you know, essentially before this episode. I really screw over every single dynasty that I take over and play for a time. The von Billungs, if you remember, the ones that created the Holy Roman Empire. Want to know how many people of them still exist? 0. Pannonia. The next heir of Pannonia is Gerulfing, so that is a Dutch person, and House Tanjou may be decimated. They're only the few people that we have running around over here. Yeah, so rulers of Pannonia no more once our mother, or rather the ruler there, dies. We also took over somebody else. I can't remember who we took over. We took over... Oh yeah, that's right. The Polish people over here. They still exist. Zopolani, still technically something that is around, but not for long, seeing as they rule over Greater Poland, and eventually I'm sure Greater Poland will fall. We kind of spell out doom for any dynasty that we take over. I'm hoping that I can turn that trend around with Count Orestes of Aintab here. Let's see what we can do about that, eh? In the past few months, you have been spending many nights reading the Bible. The texts contain many items of wisdom and also give hints to the most important mysteries of God. These sacred texts illuminate me. Beautiful. Make me smart. Count Neophytus was introduced by a mutual friend and we talked for quite a while. We had our differences and a few arguments, then we found common, safe ground and I began enjoying myself. Count Neophytus seems like a decent person. He does seem like a decent person, doesn't he? He's gates of hell, oh god. I think we can be friends. Yeah, absolutely. He has a strong claim on the Duchy of Hellas. You know what? I wouldn't mind talking to you some more. Howdy, my good friend. He's a decent person. I like that fella. I wish I was that fella, quite frankly. 25 years old, pretty decent character. But instead we are bald 31. West Francia. A kingdom that was so close to falling. Think about it. Remember the independence of Flanders, the independence of this huge chunk that was Paris, and they have reunified it. King Jacques the Purifier has also taken some land. You know, Tours was taken. It was in control of the Pope, and then he retook it in his own name. And he has now set up an anti-pope. He has set up Pope Robert as Pope Urbanus II, the Lion. Catholicism is in a difficult time, but not only Catholicism, of course, also the entirety of Christianity. You know, we have Orthodoxy falling thanks to the Catholics, and now Catholicism itself is falling. Maybe West Francia, you know what? I think my personal explanation for this is that King Jacques the Purifier was very unhappy, incredibly unhappy about the Pope going out of his way to recognize the Latin Empire. So what King Jacques the Purifier did was essentially saying, you are no true Pope, you led the Christians against other Christians, and that is uncalled for. Because of it, here's my anti-Pope. Maybe King Jacques the Purifier is actually in the right here, especially considering that he just carved out a huge piece of the Umayyad realm. I could even see the Umayyads falling to the French. Honestly, maybe the French will be the true kind of power focus here. What I love, by the way, England has the entire time been carving out their island realm. They've just been conquering and conquering and conquering. King Edmund the Wise of House Chester has taken over, and look at that, they haven't been under the same dynasty in ages because they are indeed an elective monarchy. I'm a huge fan of what England has done, and we haven't been involved in that at all. So like, props to the AI there for sure. A new bird has arrived in the muse, and a new book in the art, on the art of writing poetry in the library. You know what? Tell me about poetry. Oh, and there comes the army. This is the one war that will decide it. Will the army of Mayor Khosrow win? This book about poetry is really boring. It is filled with do's and do nots, and I just want to throw it out the window. You know what? Why don't we just go out and study the bird? And there's the battle that I sadly can't watch, but you know what? I want to reinforce it if possible. Get the troops and try to do this. I think we should have this, but I want to make sure that we really are going to have this. Can I be the army leader here? Thank you. I'm not good at leading the army, but I think it is heroic to stand up against the Muslim forces. And there you go. We've done it, I think. The landscape surrounding Tel Bashir is a sight to behold. I wish I was not here for a battle. Once all of this is over, maybe I will come out here with Innocentios. My sword is suddenly kicked out of my hand, and a scruffy-looking soldier shouts, voice like a demon, "I'll get your leg." I could duel Dukes Lydolf of Hellas, and if I defeat him, then the Hellenic troops should be leaving, because then that alliance would be breaking down. I will duel him, you know what? I will strike down the enemy that is helping our Muslim overlord. For some reason, I will strike him down. My grip is cramping around my spear as Dukes Lydolf braces for another attack. The following moments are a blur. Blood suddenly everywhere. Somebody shouting, did Count Orestes just pierce through his face? We win the duel. Dukes Lydolf of Hellas dies, and another victorious match. And with that, the alliance is over. Oh, that is actually beautiful. We are, to a great degree, the winners of this war. And I know, of course, the battle would have been won either way, I suppose, but at the end of the day, we were the ones that struck down the alliance between Duke Boethius, the Whisperer of Calabria, and our opponent in Hellas. And with that, the war is indeed over. It was one of those situations where you didn't want to tell the truth in case it would hurt a person, but at the same time, honesty is a virtue. You know what? We are an intricate web weaver. Lie and don't hurt anyone. There you go. We are now deceitful. The war's over, and we will become independent. Now, of course, that independence will be short-lived, because Trebizond is the rightful lord over these lands, as far as we are concerned. Ignatius the Betrayer has arrived at your court. An excommunicated, highly suspicious Orthodox, huh? I think I'm gonna imprison him here. Oh, we actually fled the court. The new bird is almost too perfect. I enjoy every hunt with it. I can't read. And the cook has trouble finding new recipes for rabbit. I'm a falconer. Absolutely. You know what? We are quite smart, but we are also good at fighting. So I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, do some physical activities. Maybe being able to bring up our state marshal long term. But look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And we are independent from our newly Muslim overlord. Trebizond. King Atom the second, the Apostle of Trebizond. Look at him. Wow, he is amazing. He is somebody that we can follow, I think. I mean, he may be a drunkard, but he is a brilliant strategist, a flanker, a trickster, a theologian, a patient man, a kind, deceitful, paranoid, and craven. So he got some negative traits there for sure, but I think he is someone that can inspire confidence that he may restore the Eastern Roman Empire, not in its Latin way, but in its Greek Orthodox way. And he is defending the Karen Cetra... No, he's defending Opsikion, so he's defending these over here. Yeah, he is very active in defending people of the right faith. And then over here, he was winning the war against Vagashak's host claim on Trebizond. I shall swear fealty to you, my friend, King Atom. You are my new leader. I accept your leadership. How do I personally feel about him? Now, I personally know female heir, short reign, envious. I may be envious, but honestly, I think our character recognizes that he needs to be smart if he wants to live. I could become king of Armenia, but I think I would rather acquire a title. And I can probably do this if I do have money. Can I just declare a war against you? Border dispute. I don't want to spend the money for the border dispute there. I could just go ahead and do a holy war, although I would be afraid that other people would defend him. Now to start things off, let's just go on a pilgrimage. I shall go on a pilgrimage to seek God's grace at one of the holy places of Christianity. We shall go to Actually, let's go to Antioch. Antioch is in the hands of the Muslims, but directly actually in the hands of an Orthodox Christian, so this should work out for us. Things are packed, everything is in order. Ancient Antioch awaits. My journey begins. And I think we are going to be a good vassal. I don't think we are going to rebel against Trebizond. We shall stand together in the defense of orthodoxy, although of course I do still want to blob a bit. As you pass through a small village along the pilgrim's path, an old woman comes up to you. She's recognized you as a pilgrim and explains that her daughter and her family live close to your destination. They're suffering hard times and she asks you to bring them a large purse of money. You know what, of course I will help you, and I will secretly add some money of my own. In these trying times, we need to stand together. As the evening approaches, after a long day on the road, you come upon several campfires. Around the fires, you find a group of holy knights resting after a long day's ride. They invite you to share their meal and trade stories. Absolutely. Trade stories of war. You know what? Let's actually trade stories of war. Lucky. Antioch. You have finally arrived at Antioch. This is the oldest city of Christianity, the first place where people actually began to call themselves Christian. St. Peter and St. Paul both worked here, as did St. Ignatius. It is a place where where early Christendom was formed and defined, and it later expanded from here westwards to Rome and beyond. As your feet tread the ancient streets of Antioch, you can feel the history and tradition in the air around you. A great and ancient city indeed. The saints, this holy ground, how it all moves my soul. I realize now that all my life up to this point has only been a preparation for this journey. How wondrous that the light of the Lord truly shines in me, a poor sinner. From now on, I shall always do His work. Praise Jesus. Look at that. Lollard, yeah, and don't make me laugh. I could have become Lollard, I could have become cynical, but I'm much happier about this. Count Orestes of Aintab, indeed a warrior for his faith. And you know what I didn't even notice? Look at that. His mother rules in Tortosa, so down here in Tripoli. And where does his wife rule again? Let me just take a quick look here. His wife rules in Arca, so theoretically we could, you know, kind of become a pathway around Antioch if we get these inheritances going. Quite interesting indeed, the starting position here. I wish for a long and lucky life for Count Orestes. You have finally returned from a pilgrimage. It was a rewarding and interesting journey, and you'd do it all again if you could. Still, it's good to be back home. Can I change my focus? Yes. I think we're going to change our focus to... So we've just returned from the pilgrimage, and I think we're going to change our focus to war, because I want to stand together with all of my brethren and with everyone, you know, that is defending the faith. What is this? Tartus host? Tartus conquest of Chazianon? You should be fine, right, Atom? Is our... Yeah, our county is Orthodox, so that is beautiful. Man, I am in love with the fact that we actually survived this initial assault, even though it came at the cost of him converting, but ultimately we'll probably be fine. And you know what? He's in so many wars. Holy War for Calabria. I'm going to go for the Holy War for Edessa, because if we just hold Edessa, Calabria falls, and we will then be able to immediately get 100%. I think this should work out just fine. I will have to hire some people, however, as you do. We have no holy orders, of course, so I'm going to go ahead and hire, you know, the meager... No, not the Pecheneggs. We're going to go with the... I would like to hire a company that is a good Christian company. The Rus Band, they are Orthodox. You know what? Aid me in these trying times, and you shall be paid respectively. Yeah, let's take them down here. Tel Bashir will fall, and we shall take full control of it. Now, this will, of course, take some time, and I can only hope that no one supports him. As of right now, I think that is because his capital is in Calabria. Nobody appears to be close enough to actually join him. I think they decide whether they are close enough to join based on the capital of the person attacked, and they live over here, despite, of course, the war being over there. So, I think we're gonna get lucky here. You want to kill this man. Right, he's the man that came and tried to claim Trebizond. I will not be complicit in murder, but I won't stop you necessarily. Ooh, you want to kill me, Diogenes, please. I'm gonna take you, order you to take vows. This is unacceptable. Your murder plot shall not go through. Stop this plot immediately. You want to revoke a county? That's okay. You also want to kill me. Are you kidding me? You know what? I'm gonna send you off, probably for an alliance, to a different family. Ooh, the Emir of Antioch. That would be nice. Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're gonna do. You're gonna marry him, and we are going to be intertwined. The protectors of Antioch, if you will. Thank you for the alliance there. Will you already? You know what? I don't think I need your support in this war, although I would, of course, appreciate it. And you have now been forced to become a monk, Diogenes. That is what you get for your sins. Don't you do it again. The Adventures of the Lion of Aintab, our character, of course, will continue tomorrow, but only then will we find out what's actually going on. And I want to thank the members of the channel that are supporting this series, and the channel in particular, of course, namely the Barons, Aaron, Stefan, the Richest, T, Snywolf, Emma, Mello, Thomas, Lachlan, and Mitchell, then also the Counts, Shifty, Ixum, the Naughty, and Wombat, and last but not least, as always, the beautiful Dukes, Suspicious Duck, Benedict, Nathan, Knight of Squires, Kenneth, Lexo, Roboman, My Dad Left Me at Arby's, and Eric and Aiden. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next episode. Until then, later, alligator.